Today on the table, we have a Colt Model 1903. So this is a 32 ACP. They made these from 1903 actually to 1945. It is a 4-inch barrel. And then it also comes in an 8-round magazine, which I can show here. This one actually is all original and almost perfect condition. Here's the magazine here if you want to see. So you can see the cool little, it's almost a two-tone mag. It's got a little discoloration toward the top, like some of the older ones do. And it does have the old school mag release here on the bottom, and you can see it says caliber 32 Colt right there on the bottom of the mag. This one was made here, and I'll show you serial number wise, I think around like the mid 1900s, like 1915, 17, somewhere in there. You can double check that. Here's the serial number if you would like to see. It does have its original black plastic, rubbery grips that they came with back in the day. Right around 1925 or so, they actually switched over to only the walnut grips. So any old early Colt will have these black rubber plastic grips on them, like the Bakelite grips on them. But then like around the mid 1920s, they switched over the Colt grips with the gold medallion on them. They were available to be ordered in a nickel finish and then with an ivory grip as well, and then a couple other specialized grips. But if you watch like the Untouchables, the fellow has one with ivory grips on it. It does have 2 safety features. So there is a slide safety here. You can see that here. I can make the adjustment on the safety. And it also has a squeeze safety on it as well too. So, or like I guess you'd call it grip safety is what they would normally call it, which is really nice. And it's a fantastic feeling gun. It's easy to conceal. And the 32 rounds are actually, a 32 ACP round is a really nice round. We can check here just to make sure if everybody wants to see that it is also not loaded. You can see in there that it is not loaded. They call it a Pocket Hammerless, but the funny thing is it actually does have a hammer. Despite the fact that they do call it a hammerless, there is a hammer striker fire mechanism on the inside of the slide, obviously, but I think they just use that because pocket means, you can stick it in your pocket a lot easier. It has just basic sights. You can see here it just has this fixed front sight and then a rear notch right here. You can see that there. A couple other things. There's some cool history about it because, it was obviously designed by John Browning, as are a lot of Colt pistols. There's a few other things too that was kind of cool, is that it was used in World War I and World War II. FN, Fabrique Nationale, they actually copied it, and they have their own model 1903 as well. So I don't know if you've seen one of those before. Maybe I'll try to find one and get one of those also. They made about 570,000 of these. So, these 32s are a lot easier to find. The Model 1908s, which are the 380 ACPs, those are a lot harder to find. But these 32s are much easier to find. But it had some pretty cool, there's some cool history with it though. Al Capone, he used to always keep one in his coat pocket. And then Bonnie Parker actually used one to break Clyde Bear out of jail. She taped it to her thigh, which is kind of fun. So, and I'm not sure which one she had. I don't know if she had a nickel finish or she had this standard really cool blued finish. There's a bank robber named John Dillinger. He was carrying this pistol when he was shot by FBI agents back in 1934. And then there's another fellow, actually, even as late as 1952, named Willie Sutton. And he was also a bank robber, another famous bank robber. But in 1952, when he was captured, he didn't get killed by the police, but he was captured and was carrying one of these as well. And like I said, there's one in the Untouchables. If you watch that, one bad guy carries one of these in the Untouchables. And then there's a star that's also a nickel plate as well, too. But yeah, it's one of my favorite ones that I have. If you look here, just like the coloring on it is so cool. If you see it in person, they're just the blue that they finished these on. And this is the original finish. And like I said, I was lucky to find one here. You can see the Colt on the back of the slide. It's just a super great gun. And And just the fit and finish of it for being, over 100 years old. You don't get any really wiggle in the slide. Shoots really nice. It's just a super, super cool pistol. And, if you have any questions about it, or if you have one, feel free to mention in the comments. Let me know which one you have, or, what color variation that you guys have. Thanks.